Welcome to eZeLiving.com. I'm Jan Herdman, and today we're talking with Ali, who's a third-year medical student from the University of Sharjah and a certified life support instructor. Welcome, Ali.
Welcome. Hi.
So today we're talking about first aid and why it's essential for everybody to know about first aid, not just the medical professionals.
Yes.
So can you give us your thoughts on that? Why is it essential?
Yes. I just came back from the UK. I went for a surgical course in the beginning of January, and something that I found out that was very interesting. Everyone that works with people with different ages are first aid certified, meaning taxi drivers, people that work in the hotel, policemen, etc. So I found this very interesting. It gives me a more safer environment to be in. I came back here and I gathered my thoughts and looked at the environment here and found out that first aid training is basically concentrated on healthcare professionals, which I find is quite wrong to say, to be honest. Any one of us can be a part of an emergency, and we should know how to deal with it.
For example, the mothers and fathers at home,
yes,
babysitters,
yes,
all that sort of thing,
yes,
they may come across occurrences where babies, children are in trouble in the water, that sort of thing. So what are you suggesting?
Yes. So it's very important to be first aid certified. It's important for both people working with children, people working with the elderly, and any other age. Any one of us can be a part of an emergency, and it's very important to have a structural and organized approach to deal with it. Time is of a great essence in dealing with an emergency.
What sort of problems are you talking about in particular?
Okay, choking, for example, in children. Some children can ingest a foreign body while playing a toy, etc.
Yes.
It's very important to know how to relieve choking in a very quick manner. You cannot wait for paramedics to come. You can't wait for a healthcare professional. CPR, in our first aid courses, CPR is taught for both healthcare professionals and non-healthcare professionals. Of course, there are the recent guidelines. Poison, insect bites.
Of course.
Yes. We train first aid providers both emotionally and physically with tutorials, information, and hands-on approach on dealing with emergencies.
So you already have a course which is running for these professionals and non-professionals?
Yes, we have a course designed for both healthcare professionals and non-healthcare professionals. We have been running this course on different locations now, and soon, hopefully, on eZeLiving exclusively, you'll be hearing more about it and where you can be first aid certified.
So how long would these courses take?
As I said, we have first aid courses for both healthcare and non-healthcare professionals. If it's a healthcare professional course, it usually takes between 4.5 to 5.5 hours. If it's a non-healthcare professional, it takes between 2.5 and 4 hours. But it's a fun approach to first aid. So it won't be basically a tutorial and boring presentation. No, it will be a hands-on approach on emergencies, providing you with the most recent guidelines, and it will be fun, interesting. Yeah.
So why would a healthcare professional want to do this course?
Yeah, very good question. Especially medical students, because medical students have to be a part of the healthcare profession even from the first day in medical school.
Okay. Yes.
Because society looks at you in a different way from the first day you enrolled in medical school. So it is important to know how to deal with emergencies and to correct some of the misconceptions that are available. There's a lot of misconceptions that goes on, and it's important to know how to deal with an emergency.
Right. Yeah. And for the non-healthcare professional, the mothers and the babysitters, etc., they'd be learning how to deal with someone who's choking or someone who's had a cardiac arrest or something like that.
Yes.
So in this course, do you teach CPR?
Yes, we do.
And CPR stands for?
Yes, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Okay. We teach CPR according to the most recent guidelines, and CPR is taught on a hands-on approach on mannequins that are available. We bought these mannequins from the US, and those mannequins have been used. Of course, they come in infants, children, and adults mannequins, and they give you the sensible approach as if you're doing CPR on an actual human being.
Fantastic.
Yes. And as you said earlier, it is very important to know these basics.
Absolutely, because you never know what situation you're going to be in.
Yes.
And if you don't know the basics, then you can't help and you can't wait for the paramedics to arrive, can you?
Because working in a structural and organized manner, as I said, can actually be a world of a difference in the outcome of an emergency. For example, it can be the difference between a permanent or a temporary disability. It can be the huge difference between someone surviving or dying.
Right.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And when will these courses be starting?
Actually, we're ready. We're just
Right.
waiting for the proper sponsors, supporters of our course. We're trying to find a more stable venue to run these courses, because as I said earlier, we have been going all over and training. So we're trying to establish a proper venue, and so people can come to us. And
Lovely. So Ali, what do you actually use for a reference for these courses?
okay. The course is going to run, of course, by certified instructors like myself, and the course, the references we use are all accredited and all recent guidelines, as I said. One of our references is the First Aid Manual from the UK. This is the #1 First Aid Manual in the UK. We also use the American Heart Association recent guidelines and British Heart Association guidelines.
Right.
Yes.
So Ali, what does the course cover?
Yes, the course covers first aid basics, meaning a tutorial and a hands-on approach on things like what is a first aid kit, what does it include, how to manage an insect bite, a snake bite, how to manage choking, how to perform CPR in the most organized manner, and how to deal with wounds, visible and invisible bleeding, and how to prepare a first aid provider physically and emotionally, and much more.
Excellent. Well, Ali, thank you very much for sharing the importance of first aid, and the fact that we don't need to rely on the healthcare professional to know these things, but we need to know them ourselves.
Yes.
And for those of you at home, then please stay tuned to eZeLiving.com, because Ali is going to be bringing us a lot more short tutorials on first aid. And until next time, this is Jan Herdman on eZeLiving.com.